all, Izzy, congratulations. The announcement of your fight against Sean Strickland's finally come out. Can you talk to us about that process and what really was the weight behind him finally signing to this fight?
It wasn't about him, really. He should thank me for actually making the fight happen, because without me, he wouldn't have actually got the fight. I pushed for him to get the fight because he was the next logical guy. I've beat all the top 5, some of them twice. So you can't punish us for being great. So yeah, I pushed for him to get the fight. He's an idiot. Well, I can't say too much about that. He's an idiot, so he just has to behave himself and actually show up and just fight.
Tight turnaround, but for you, you've been in training camp for a little while now, so how has preparations been going?
Good. We've been on. We've been very on. Everyone's on. Six of us fighting. About 3.5 weeks out now or so. But yeah, it's been on.
Question for both of you. This one, quite a historic moment, especially for New Zealand and Australian MMA with so many fighters on, such a major event. How do you absorb that when you're going through preparations, knowing that this is, such a big moment for New Zealand MMA?
That's definitely on the back of our minds, but we've been here before, so we know the gravity of the situation, and this is sort of the pressure that we like, because this is the sort of pressure that we've gotten used to over the years, and the more pressure you put on us, the better the team performs. So bring it on, make us half the card. It doesn't matter. That's when we perform best. So kind of embracing it, kind of enjoying it.
And finally, from me, historic, because as you say, half the card is you guys. How do you work out this workload? Because I know that the week will be huge with so many of you on it, in terms of cornering and getting your fighters prepared the best way possible.
Yeah, look, the thing is that me and him are in front of the camera, but we're like a very kind of tip of the iceberg, if you like. So, we don't exist if we don't have a massive team underneath us that are far smarter and much better at doing this than us. So they're the guys that help us, they're the guys that really get the engine moving. So we just have a well-oiled team of excellent people and excellent coaches and other fighters. So we just share the load and we'll get it done.
I guess just following on from the first question Rav asked about the Strickland fight coming together, like how much convincing did the UFC take to, I guess, put that one on for you?
A lot. Like I said, he's an idiot, and the UFC don't want him embarrassing the company. But yeah, that's all I'll say about that. So you should thank me. You should really thank me for actually making him get the fight. I pushed for it. He knows what happened behind the scenes, and I pushed for it, and I'm glad the UFC trusted me to listen to me.
And Eugene, I guess just on that, what was the in-house discussion before even approaching the UFC to get Sean Strickland when Dricus said he was injured?
We concentrated on the date, and we talked about that very early on. We're like, look, we got at this stage, there's no opponent locked in, but it don't matter. Just put a name on a bit of paper and put it in front of us, and we'll be there on the date. So we, right from the very start, we put all our concentration and effort into the date. A little bit less focused on the opponent, then they put the opponent in front of us, we sign a dotted line and we show up. That's what we've done for our entire UFC career, not just with Izzy, but all the fighters. No one from this team's ever chosen or refused to fight, like a lot of other teams and a lot of other young fighters do in the UFC. And that's why we're looked upon favourably by the matchmakers and by the powers that be, because there's no mucking around. We believe that by the time you get here, you're at a certain level, and it's the level that you need to be to take on anyone in the world. So just put the name in front of us, and then we'll show up. So we concentrated on a date. And so the name was a little bit irrelevant to us, but Izzy did some work behind the scenes to make sure that he got Strickland, and to make sure that our region got a relevant main event, which was a Kiwi or an Australian champion. And there's only 2. One's Volt, who's unfortunately a bit injured, and so it just left him. And so we did our part to make it happen, and we're very grateful that our region, that our home, our neighbourhood has got a relevant main event.
Izzy, did you hear much of the concern from I guess, fans going in buying tickets knowing that there wasn't a booked main event
yet? A little bit. Even myself, I've spent over 6 figures on tickets myself for people that go to this gym with my friends and family. So I already invested into it feeling that I was gonna fight, and I was hearing rumbles of the fans being like, are you gonna fight? I'm only coming if you're fighting, da da da. But I just assured them that don't worry, I'll make this happen early on, and then we did the work behind the scenes and we made it happen.
This one has a couple of Coach of the Year contenders, and Eugene and Eric Nicksick. Eugene, is that a coaching battle that you've been looking forward to having?
You fought him before?
Yeah, I'm sure
so.
we've crossed paths before, but to be honest, I only found that out yesterday. I don't keep much eye on that Coach of the Year things. It's just a thing that happens in the background. Yeah, look, he has a very good team. Eric's a very good coach. He's in charge of a lot of fighters, a lot of high-level fighters. Very smart. And, he works with a very close friend of ours, Ray Sefo. I don't know how much input Ray has with Sean, but he has input with Eric, and they work together, and they're a very smart team. And there'll be two very good coaching teams going up against one another. So that's another battle that's going on behind the battle. But we'll make sure, and Izzy will make sure that he gets his job done in the cage.
How much of a missed opportunity is this for Dricus for not stepping up to take the fight?
Massive. Sometimes you only get one shot. If you don't take it, look, we all, like you saw my last fight 2 weeks out, right there on that spot, boom. Fucked my leg up badly. And he knows I could have pulled out that fight if I wanted to, but that was never a thought in my mind. Yeah, built different at this gym. It's only if, what is it, if you're having a baby, or
You're only allowed to miss training or a fight. You can't even pull out from a fight unless you're having a baby, and for most of us,
or getting married.
Or getting married. So those are your only excuses.
You're
Guys here have been on their death's door and they haven't pulled out from a fight.
Yeah.
That's just what has to happen in the industry. You just you don't take this for granted. We worked so hard for the champions that we have. Volko, Israel, Kai's had a title shot. You know, like we do everything in our power to get there, and when you get it, we don't take it for granted. And don't matter what injury we have, you just move on and move forward, simply because you just can't let go of an opportunity like that. And we know the nature of the sport, and we know the nature of the UFC, and all it takes is a couple of good wins, and he's bumped out of his position, so he can't sit comfortable. And he shouldn't be surprised if he has to do another fight before he gets a title shot, because he let it go. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, we're keen to fight him, but we don't know what's going to happen with the landscape and with the environment. Hopefully, he's still in a position where he can fight us next.
And given the magnitude of the card in Sydney, is this the biggest card in City Kickboxing history? Was it up there?
That's a very difficult question to answer, because we've been part of so many massive events. It's just as big as the others, but it's for different reasons. We have 6 on the card, which has never been done. We had 4 on the card, which we felt was a massive event for us. We've had 4 on the card twice. We didn't think that we'd ever get to 5 or 6, but it's gone to 6 on the card, and for that reason it's a massive event. And I mean, I don't even know if that's ever even been done by another team, having 6 people from one team on the card. So if there's any like UFC nerds and stuff, can you say that word, nerds?
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Cancel him.
Yeah. There's any UFC nerds that know all these facts and figures, if they can let us know if there's ever been 6 or more on one team on the card, that would be cool to know.
Finally, Izzy, you haven't fought on this side of the world for a very long time. It's been a long time between drinks. I know Aussie fans are excited, but New Zealand fans have been waiting for you to somewhat come home.
Yeah.
What's that feeling like for you?
That's one of the main reasons I put forward to the UFC, letting them know, like, you can't. Last time I fought on this side of the world was UFC 243, when I defended my belt against Rob the first time. And yeah, I just felt like you can't have an irrelevant main event on this side of the world, especially any of my arch nemesis. So stupid. So I'm glad they trusted me enough and respected me enough as the champion that I've been, showing up constantly, and gave me what I've earned, which is a fight close to home. And that way, people from this side can hop over the pond and watch me do work, watch us do work.